Hello, welcome to Radio 4's consumer programme. Today, a bookmaker's using your computer to stop you betting if you win. How some of the UK... The privacy regulator is investigating whether some online bookies are breaking the law after finding in favour of two punters who complained about software being downloaded onto their computers without their consent. The gamblers believe online bookies could be using this software to track their betting history, closing their accounts if they win. The software at the centre of the complaints downloads automatically, sometimes when you log on to bookies' websites, sometimes just when you click on the home page. At no stage are you asked for your permission. The bookies call this software cookies, but cookies run in the background of websites. This programme is downloaded and runs in the background of your computer. Peter Phillipson is a horse racing reviewer and he found it on his computer. It's called IE Snare, or sometimes it's called iOvation.
I look at a number of websites. There's a very good general site called GG's, funnily enough, to do with horse racing. The founder of that site is a very pro-horse racing man. He's on several committees. He basically found out that this was being done and put the full details on his website for everybody to check.
So you found it, but what is the purpose of it?
The bookmakers will tell you it's to prevent fraud. The programme, as far as I can see, is to allow bookmakers to check between themselves and take decisions as to whether they consider you a valid customer. As far as I was concerned, I'd not given permission for that programme, as I can see it, to be downloaded. So I blocked it, and at that point my account with a company called Tote Sport, which is part of the Betfred group, became inoperable.
So they barred you for blocking this programme, IE Snare, on your computer?
That's correct.
And you had read about it on another website. You'd seen a warning about it?
Yes, indeed.
How did you go about finding it then? What did you click on?
It's well hidden in the root of your computer. I had to go through a series of set instructions that this website provided. It's not when you do a normal cookie search or anything like that, you don't see it.
And you don't see it when you just click on search all programs?
No, it's not shown as a program. It's hidden in the root of your computer, basically.
So how do you think it came to be there?
Well, it could have been any one of a number of bookmakers. I mean, Tote obviously have admitted that they download it. By the time I was aware of the possibility of it being there, I couldn't possibly tell you which one it was that put it there in the first place.
Did you get in touch with Tote first off?
Yes, indeed.
What did they say?
Basically, go away. They said, we don't collect anything personal. You agreed to do this anyway because of the terms and conditions. I then complained to the ICO.
Did the Information Commissioner's Office respond to your complaint?
They have, yes.
And what did they say?
Well, I've got 3 pages of it here, but in broad terms, they've told me that they don't believe that the arguments that Tote Sport used, that it's identifying a computer only and nothing personal, is valid. They say the IP data being processed here therefore constitutes personal data under the Data Protection Act. So they found in my favour, and as far as I'm aware, are trying to get Tote to change their habits.
Peter Phillipson, as he said, the information regulator found in his favour that Tote Sport was collecting personal data without consent. We asked Tote Sport about that. They told us that along with other online bookies, they use IE Snare for fraud prevention and customer protection. They denied collecting any personal data with it, and they told us they're working with the regulator and reviewing how IE Snare is used. Peter Phillipson isn't the only one who's complained to the regulator about IE Snare. Brian Chappell runs the campaign website Justice for Punters.
I'm in the lucky position where I've got access to good IT advice, so I actually cleaned my hard drive on my laptop, and I intentionally went on the Skybet site before I went on any other internet site, and within 2 seconds IE Snare, now called iOvation, they do keep changing the name of it, and there it was. And I went to Skybet, they have completely denied it was them. I went to the Information Commissioner's Office, and it took around 6 months for the ICO to find in my favour, which was it was being used in a way which was contravening the Data Protection Act 1998, because I wasn't given a chance to reject the product being downloaded onto my laptop.
Now, you believe that this computer software is being used so that bookies can predict risk and refuse to take bets or open accounts for people who sometimes win. How can you know that?
It's talking to people. Some people don't even get one bet when they open a new account. Now, if the new bookmaker is not in the same corporate group, how do they know that this person is a financial risk?
Now, you brought your own laptop into the studio. Can you demonstrate for me how this IE Snare is downloaded onto a particular computer?
Will do. So this is the site that Peter was talking about. So this is ToteSport. Okay, and all we've done is gone on to their homepage.
It's offering lots of different promotions here for new customers. A £25 free bet, a free second bet, a Grand National non-runner no bet.
I have my laptop protected now for obvious reasons.
So you have blocked IE Snare?
Yes, but to do that you have to have a fair amount of IT knowledge, and now you can see in the box that I've clicked on that it tells you that iOvation,
which is what they've renamed IE Snare.
Yep, okay, it's showing that it's attempting to come onto my computer, but I have blocked it.
So if you now try to go on this website, you believe it will bar you?
It would stop me going on it.
Okay, let's have a go. Try and go on it then.
Okay. It's not letting me log in.
We've spoken to the people at Skybet about your complaint. Now, they say they use the IE Snare cookie, they call it a cookie, and they say they use it to tackle fraud, breaches of their terms and conditions, and for responsible gambling. Now, they told us they tell customers they use IE Snare. The information in the banner at the top of the website about cookies warns of it, they say, and they also say it's in their privacy policy and their terms and conditions. They say they're working with the Information Commissioner on it at the moment, but they say they don't agree that the way they use it breaches the Data Protection Act in any way. What do you say to that?
Well, the ICO have ruled in Peter's case that it does.
Now, the online bookies also told us that IE Snare doesn't collect personal information because it's only registering your IP address. It's only identifying the device that you log on from. Why is that useful to them?
If you open an account with a company and they collect your IP address, and let's imagine that you're one of a tiny group of people that wins. There's under 2% of people that win sports betting, and they restrict your account. So one thing you might then want to try is that you open another account with them using somebody else's name, perhaps.
Or maybe a different email address you have?
Different email address, or maybe you just ask your partner to open an account for you. Because it's the same IP address that you're using, it will identify you as being the person as an account that they've just closed down.
It will know it's you and it will stop you opening another account?
You would probably be able to open an account, but within about 48 hours you'll get an email saying that your account is closed.
There is no legal right to bet in the UK. Online bookies have the right to refuse your custom if they want to. Do you think that that should change, that you should have the right to place a bet?
I think it definitely should change. It's a bit strange in that there's no right to bet, but anybody who loses lots of money will always be given the right to bet, because the bookmakers want that custom, whereas they only say you have no right to bet if you are deemed by them to be a customer who just might. You don't even have to win. They will stop you betting.
That's Brian Chappell from Justice for Punters. Well, the gambling companies that we have spoken to all deny using this software to monitor and block successful gamblers. And the makers of the IE Snare software, a company called iOvation, say they never see anyone's personal data. They provide the software to the betting companies, they told us, and it's up to those companies to comply with data laws, including laws about consent. They said the software only logs account sign-ins, registrations and cashier activity by IP address, not by name or location, and it is intended for use in detecting fraud. Gareth Cameron is from the Information Commissioner's Office, and I asked him what they're looking into.
Data protection law requires that website operators are very clear and they explain how they are collecting and using people's data. So our investigations, our inquiries will focus on looking at whether the companies in question have been very clear, have been very transparent about their use of these technologies.
Now, I know you don't like to comment on individual cases, but we have seen the correspondence relating to the complaint that Peter Phillipson and Brian Chappell brought to you about this technology being downloaded onto their computers, IE Snare. Your letters to them confirm that it's a breach of privacy law because they were not asked to give their express consent. So what do you expect the companies to do in response?
We have a variety of ways that we can choose to deal with these issues, and if they aren't being addressed properly by website operators, then we can look to take enforcement action. But at this stage, we are very much in the position of trying to understand further about how the technology operates and how websites operators are complying with the rules.
Now, the betting companies like to call this technology cookies, but it isn't like a cookie in the sense that where a cookie runs in the back of their website and tracks your browsing activity, this is something that sometimes when you just click on the site itself, downloads a program onto your computer, which stays on your computer and which you don't know anything about. It isn't just a cookie, is it?
Well, the electronic privacy laws cover not just cookies, but all sorts of similar technologies as well. So what we will do is we will assess, in light of the information that's being provided to customers, whether or not the technology is being used fairly, proportionately, and transparently.
Some customers, as you just heard, are convinced that betting companies are using the information they're gathering with this computer program, IE Snare, and marrying it with other details that they hold so that they can stop customers who might win from placing bets. Now, all the betting companies deny that. Is that something you're investigating?
Okay, so companies will use a variety of different technologies, a variety of different data sources in order to be able to identify suspicious activity and suspicious users. Cookies and similar technologies are part of that.
No, they're not suspicious users, they're just anyone who might win.
Okay, well, just as you can decide whether or not you wish to make a bet, a gambling company is also free to decide who they accept bets from. So if gambling companies are using technologies, tracking technologies to exclude successful gamblers because they represent a commercial risk and they aren't being clear about this, then that's potentially unfair, and that's something that we can look into. But in terms of the kind of general principle about whether or not gambling companies should be forced to take bets, that's really a wider public policy issue. And gambling companies are regulated by the Gambling Commission, and we speak to them on a regular basis about areas of mutual interest, including this one.
That's Gareth Cameron from the Information Commissioner's Office. Well, we also spoke to the Gambling Commission about this one, and they told us the bookmakers are free to decide who they accept to take a bet from, but that all bookmakers must comply with data protection laws.